So the true enemy of Attack on Titan has been revealed with episodes 14 and 15 of Season 4, Bad Parenting. It's a joke that the manga community had for a while because it just kind of felt like Eren's dad and just his parenting skills kind of caused the entire mess, and to see, especially with the latest episode and Zeke's backstory, not only explaining how he was raised, what led his thought process to be what it is, but to actually get a real father figure in the previous Beast Titan holder, and how really it's night and day in the parenting. And to see last week's episode, which 18 or so minutes got released before obviously the broadcast got cut off because of earthquake coverage, and because the way streaming deals are made, until the full episode is released in Japan, streaming platforms can't actually officially release them. But I was pretty happy with most channels not covering last week's episode, even though most of the episode was out there, because honestly, you want to see the full episode before, you fully discuss it, and most people aren't going to go out of their way to, watch the episode's high seas. So it's good that even though the spoilers were out there was more consideration, I feel like, especially given the circumstances and why last week's episode was officially delayed. And watching 73 and 74 back to back, it was everything I wanted, and as someone who knows the source material, watching these two episodes, soaking all the information in, seeing the voice actors and the directing really elevate those panels, it's overwhelming for someone who knows the source material. I can only begin to imagine those who are fresh to Attack on Titan. That's what makes rewatches or rereads so incredible. It's hard to even know where I want to begin with this because there's so much content, but I think I really do want to dive into Zeke's backstory first and foremost, because Eren's father and just the idea of the plan. If you look at it objectively, what Eren's father was trying to do, it makes total sense, but I think to see the difference in what his father was teaching Zeke versus what the grandparents were teaching Zeke, there's two very different histories on who attacked who first and whatnot. Really, each side's history perfectly fits their narrative, and you don't really know which one to trust. And to see a little boy who doesn't want to do this, but you understand where the father and the mother are coming from in terms of why they want Zeke to be the one to inherit the Titan, so they can kind of infiltrate everything, learn the information, and be able to start this revolution. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But when you look at it strictly from a child who wants to play ball with his dad, to have a family life, and really is perfectly fine just honestly staying in one location, he wants to just have a family. And then to see, just coincidentally, the person who he meets up with just tossing a baseball by himself just so happens to be the previous Beast Titan holder. Over the years building up that relationship, it's so fascinating to see the difference of ideas of what it is to live and how this man completely did just so he could learn things about the Titans and what it means to have the Titans and what the founder Ymir did and everything like that. And to learn his backstory about how he had this wife and kid, and as soon as the wife knew about his true race, she slit both of their throats. It's just such a tragically horrible world, and to see the betrayal of Zeke to his family, I don't think many people will say, oh my god, I can't believe Zeke did that. It's just like, oh my god, this entire government and system of how people are treated, how did that not happen sooner? When you know your parents are doing technically terrorist things, and you just want to have a family, and your true father figure is saying the only way for you to not get harmed and your grandparents is to turn them in. It's just so heartbreaking to see that, and to see the pain and the shock, and most importantly to finally see Eren and Zeke's conversation, because Zeke firmly believes Eren is being controlled by his father's will and he wants to save his brother because he broke away free, versus Eren, who's been kind of indoctrinated his entire life from Zeke's point of view. There's this really good information that gets dropped about how, Zeke can never be the one to use the founding Titan. Zeke is just the key. Zeke is a Titan with royal blood. The one who has the founding Titan, if they come into contact, they'll be able to use it, but ultimately Eren would be the one in control. So whoever has that Titan has to be someone he fully trusts. And I think there's been a lot of debate on who's manipulating who. Does Eren trust Zeke? Does Zeke trust Eren? Are they both trusting, or are they both trying to manipulate? The only thing I'm able to touch upon, because it's crystal clear in these episodes, is Zeke's side, because I know the source material, so I don't want to spoil or give away hints that could potentially ruin anime onlys. Zeke fully cares about Eren. There's no debate about that. He cries when Eren says that he wants to support his plan. He feels like this is the family he's always wanted, someone who's actually related to him, someone who believes in him and trusts in him, And the plan is ultimately euthanasia. Stop Eldians from ever being able to breed, so no more people will be born into this world cursed by their own bloodline. Ultimately, the people alive will be able to survive and things like that, but they won't be able to breed. And Eren says something about how basically being born into this world would be cruel for them. Now, I'm not going to say, do I think Eren is right or is Eren lying, this or that. I know of the actual source material. But I think when you look at Eren's character, the voice actor did a phenomenal job, because if Eren's lying, his voice actor, perfect poker face, because how he speaks, how he's acting, towards everything, to Mikasa, Armin, to Zeke, it feels like someone believing in what they're saying. There's no ounce of, oh, you can tell they're trying to play both sides. So you have to ask yourself, did Eren change? Did Eren go from the character of being born into this world is free and amazing and this is what we want, or has he actually changed ever since touching Historia's hand? And we have seen that change happen. But then you think of the backstories about how he's saying he wants his friends to be safe, but then in the previous episode, he's breaking it down to, he literally breaks down Armin after Armin tries to beat him up, and he's telling Mikasa that you're just a slave to my will, going right back to the beginning of season 1, that the Ackerman clan is simply bound to the king's will. Is that a lie? Because it all lines up. He's saying that simply you are just obeying my orders, and immediately after saying that, when Armin's trying to attack, she throws Armin to the table. Apparently the Ackermans can't go against the founding Titan, and that is all oath-based, and that relates to the headaches and everything like that. Isayama's writing all coming together, and it all boils down to the question, is Eren bullshitting, or is this who Eren currently is? Because right now, Zeke has full trust in Eren, and seemingly Eren has full trust in Zeke. The revelations and how that all boils down into one nice package, it's insanity. And you can go back and rewatch these 2 episodes back to back and find even more things to appreciate about it. The whole wine with the soldiers that Levi had with him in the forest drinking the wine, it was honestly bad coincidence and bad luck that Levi agreed to give his soldiers those wine. They wanted to be able to drink on the job, and he doesn't drink. And the fact that Zeke was betting all his money on Levi not being able to kill his subordinates, especially considering that they were acting a lot different than mindless Titans because of Zeke controlling. And then you just see our man come in and just destroy everything. That forest scene, and just everything that it represented. Levi is one of the most tragic characters for leading so many people to death. And it's not his fault, but this man has to continue to watch everyone he loves die around him as he's held by everyone's promise that he made to him. And he is just so done with this monkey. Round 2, because I know some people are going to say this was round 3 with the fight. Round 2 didn't count because Levi and Zeke were bullshitting when they were invading Marley to make it look like Zeke didn't betray them. So officially this is round 2. Round 3 if you want to be precise if you include the fake fight. But to see just the slaughter and how it wasn't even a match. All those Titans and Zeke, and one man army comes in and is just done with his shit. Attaches a thunder spear to his chest wrapped around his neck. If you move, it will blow up. And our boy Zeke is like, you know what? For my dad. Blows himself up, seemingly blowing Levi up in the process. This show and the endgame is so amazing. It's so good. It's so exhilarating. And the fact that it continues to tie into content from the previous season. That's why I always say Attack on Titan isn't one of those shows that gets better with each season because the writer found his groove and was able to make each arc better. I do believe that. But when you look at Mikasa's headaches, you look at, Zeke casually saying, I will come back to save you, Eren, back earlier in the seasons. Everything comes back full circle, and the way all these plot lines come together, it's incredible. And without a doubt, as I say, my favorite story of all time. I love it in the manga, I love it in the anime, I love Attack on Titan in general. It is simply a phenomenal story. And watching all those pieces click and come together, seeing the poor instructor who's just continuing to do his job and the Flock comes in and says, hey, dedicate your hearts and beat the living shit out of this guy. Flock is a character I absolutely despise in terms of personality-wise. But in terms of his narrative and his arc on where he starts hating Eren to becoming probably his most devoted follower, is one of the craziest arcs I've seen in this story. And that's saying a lot considering everything that we've seen. With 1 episode to go left of the final season. The story's not ending, of course. There will either be a part 2 of the actual TV series, or there will be a series of movies. But they're ending it in, I think, the most amazing way, and I will explain why I think that with next week's episode, obviously. But the way this season goes full circle and just the revelations that come with it, you can have pure emotional reactions to these past 2 episodes. Pure fuel by emotions. You're not even thinking about it logically. You're saying, my boy got blown up. My boy got just screwed over by his parents. And I think that's a worthy response. But then when you break it down and you see like how the relationships have been working, and seeing so many questions that we've had throughout the season finally come full circle, hell, circling back to season 1 with why did Mikasa get a headache, and seemingly Eren revealing that, with the biggest question you come out of this episode saying, is Eren lying? And if he's lying, who's he lying to? Is he truly saying, like, leave me alone, I just want Zeke's answers? Mikasa, you disgust me? Was the scarf a lie? Did the touch on Historia's hand really change him that much? Or is he the biggest bullshitter of all? Those are the questions I had reading it, and I honestly think the anime did an even better job because Eren's voice actor is believable. There is no bullshitting in his vocal performance, nor is the serious glaze of his character design giving you any indication that he's bullshitting. But then when you look back at his previous actions, you're like, that goes against him, but there's nothing really giving you an indication that he has any other plans. That's why I love Eren Yeager. That's why he's my favorite character in the anime and manga medium. I love where he goes and how he goes full circle. And Zeke is a very close second for me as well. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on either last week's episode or this week's Attack on Titan, and where do you think it's going to go with that last episode next week as we then wait for the next installment of the Attack on Titan story. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you're happy new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.